Alright guys, welcome back for another update on the Canny Valley Endurance. Last video we covered everything regarding home base, so all of that should be completely working. However, I changed up a few things. I had an issue with some husks getting through these walls. It's not like they were breaking it, they were simply phasing. So if you're having any sort of issues like that, the easiest thing you can do is just add some traps inside of here. You can add wall darts, dynamos, whatever your preference is, but it tends to be these three pieces right here all the way to the left. Go ahead and add those, and then we can hop right into working on the furthest northeast amp, or furthest northwest amp. Everything regarding the west side stayed completely the same. I don't think I changed anything. As long as you have all of the block off working before, you're perfectly fine. The only thing, I had an issue with some husks wanted to go through this, so I simply added a few wall darts here, and that's about it. You don't need those. It still works completely fine without it. It's just something extra if you want to be extremely careful about it all. However, regarding the north, I changed quite a lot. So previously, we had lots of block off here, and we sent them around this way and just blocked off everything, created huge kill tunnels here. It took up quite a lot of builds, and honestly, I wanted to figure out something cheaper and more fun. I really didn't like the idea of just, wasting so many builds like that, so I went ahead and removed it. From my testing, this has worked perfectly fine. We're just going to come up to this portion right here. All of the husks are going to spawn around here, so you don't want to add any tiles. There's also no need for any floor tiles here because nothing should be able to throw that far to the amplifier. You might have stuff come over here and throw, but the traps are going to always knock them down before they actually get to. If you do have low trap durability and you're having things break, you can simply extend this a little bit. But you do have to be careful about adding a secondary path for the husks over on the west side. So I kept it just like this because my traps don't have an issue with burning out. But how you build it, we're going to come to this upper spawn they have. Skip this first tile because a spawn might break it. And we're going to add wall launchers with 2 reload speed and the rest durability. No impact on these. It's these perks right here. The reason for that, you're not really going to get anything too hard. You might get, a smasher or a blaster or whatever, but they won't make it past the second or third wall launcher. And we have this wall light here just to be safe. But we're going to start with 2 wall launchers and then a tar pit on the ground. Of course, this tar pit is just all durability. You never want any damage perks on tar pits, especially if it's a recycling build, because they will occasionally go off and kill a husk. Our goal is just to send them right down here, so that way they have to walk the other path. Alright, next we're going to place another tar pit, and on the right we're going to place a wall light with, I believe, 3 impact, 2 reload speed, and effect duration. Let me check that. Yeah, right here. So we're going to go with 3 impact, 2 reload speed, and an effect duration for this wall light. Honestly, that's all you need. You don't need any more impact, because all we're doing is sending off any smasher that might have spawned and made it there. Next, this is a 3 times impact and 2 reload speed, 1 durability wall launcher. You could also use heals build attached, but nothing should be hitting it in the first place. So these are the perks right there for you. And then another tar pit on the ground. I added this pillar just to make sure no husks cut the corner, because as you can see, without that, you might have a husk walk this way and completely disregard this wall launcher. If you'd like, you can add this. If you're having any issues with a smasher somehow making it here and charging through this, they shouldn't, but just in case your trap durability is low, just remove this pillar because walls can actually affect smashers. Next tile, we're going to add a floor launcher, and it's just going to be 2 times impact, 2 reload speed, and 2 durability. This is just final, anything making it here, we just want to recycle them out completely. You could also go with a tar pit, but since I have to add this ramp and these floors to stop any flingers from being down here and being annoying, I might as well utilize it. This is another 3 impact, 2 reload speed wall launcher, and it's just to once again send them back here so we can send them all the way back again. If we added a tile right here, then we block their only path through, and they would simply break through one of these 2 tiles. So you could go ahead and add another pillar, and that's just to make sure they don't cut this corner, and that way they actually walk around. Because without that, they'll cut the corner, ignore both the wall launcher and the floor launcher. So have the pillar right there, and it's also going to support this stuff up here. Now this is just to prevent any flingers from somehow coming to this spot here and throwing. It shouldn't be needed, but I've tested it always with it just because we have the extra structures. Might as well play it safe. I personally prefer to go more expensive and make sure it's going to work rather than go cheaper and have it risk failing. So off of that pillar we added, you're going to place a ramp going up and then 3 floor tiles going forwards. It's going to take you lined up with this portion right here, so that way this is open. No flinger should be able to make this throw. It's quite literally impossible, but if they somehow do, please let me know. I would love to see that happen. As for the block off, down here, we used to have tons and tons and tons of block off, just preventing this whole thing because we would knock the smashers off right here. So when we knock them off, we're allowed to have that block off to stop them. We don't really need it. It's honestly overly expensive. So I removed all of that, and all we have is a ramp floor with these tiles edited off. You can keep it as a full floor. It really makes no difference. And then a second one at the top of the ramp. You can keep them full floors. It doesn't matter. Whatever you choose to do, they both work. I went ahead and added some heel pads with heels build attached. You could do the same with a floor spike with heel build attached, or even a flame girl if for whatever reason you carry a flame girl. It's just something to make sure in case something hits the floor, it'll just get its UI reset and walk away. Because the husks will walk up to this, and then they'll turn around, walk all the way over here, and then we have this old recycler. This is exactly the same as it used to be. At least it should be. We're using blue wooden floor spikes to stall them. We're using sound walls to make sure we don't have any propanes giving us issues, and then wall launchers to knock them off. These are super old, but if you have the wall launchers with 2 reload speed and all durability, these ones right here, then I would recommend you take those and replace all of these. So you get rid of this and this to do it. If you haven't watched this build yet, I highly recommend going to watch the other one. I'll try to link it in the top corner right about now, and watch that build, then come back, make all of the edits, and it'll make it a lot easier for you. So all of this is the same. If you're having issues with propanes or smashers or whatever going off, then just remove all of the pillars in here. This is to make their pathways longer, but if they're causing some issues, then I highly recommend you just remove them. It's really not worth it. But for this back side, we used to have a spot for the flingers. So this used to be open, and the flingers would come here. We would have dynamos on either side to kill them when they try to throw. It's not needed. We can make it a lot cheaper and also make it a lot better for recycling by simply closing this off with a wall launcher and sound wall. So if we start in this little overhang right here, up the ramp, blue wooden floor spike, sound wall, and these are all the perks I talked about in the other video, but I'll go over them again. You're going to have 1 reload speed and a 2 reload speed. You can have the heels build attached, but if your durability is low, I highly recommend just throw it on an extra durability perk. And then on either side, one is going to be 1 reload speed, the other is going to be 2 reload speed. This is because when a husk first comes here, they'll activate at the same time. But then the one that's 2 reload speed is going to activate first, and then this one will activate second. So that way, as a constant stream of husks are coming through, you're going to make sure you're staggering as many as possible and actually getting rid of all of the propanes. Then we're just going to have a wall launcher here to send them all the way back, and it's going to be 3 times impact, 2 reload speed. You could either go heels build attached or durability. Depends completely on your durability percentage. Just to send them back so that any propanes that were missed get hit again. Then you're going to walk here, and everything else is the complete same for this bottom tunnel. All of this is going to remain the same walking through here. The only thing that changes is this lobber shield. So it's a little bit odd, and I'm going to go through everything on how to build it with you guys. So give me 1 second and we'll build this for you. Alright guys, here's exactly how you can build this. So coming off of this gas trap we have down here, this is also the tire drop above our trap tunnel to actually kill any husks that make it through this initial recycling portion. We're going to leave this space in front blank, but continue walls all the way across. If you remember, we added these walls here with wall spikes and heels build attached just in case anything tries to go through it. We're just going to extend the wall all the way over until we meet the natural terrain here and our trap tunnel. This is going to allow for us to place these tire drops right here, and it's just going to make our life easier. It's going to help us stall even more. These are not for damage. I repeat, not for damage. I have them set up as 77s for low damage with no upgrade on the durability perk. And as you can see, 2 reload speed, 3 durability. These are going to do the minimum amount of damage and also give us all of the perks for the extra durability and reload speed. If you can't craft those or don't know anyone who does, talk to me in the Discord or leave a comment and I'll try to help craft some for you guys. All I ask is you bring the materials required. But then we're just going to create a 2x2 right here and 1 tile off to the side. Remember, that's the gas trap for the tunnel, so pretty self-explanatory to build. The lava shield, however, it's going to get a little more confusing, right? Go ahead and edit your ramp, or your cones into a ramp, sorry. And then we're just going to continue this all the way across here. Highly recommend you bring double jump because it's going to make your life so much easier, but we're just continuing the cones straight across. So then we're just going to continue this side up by 3, and then you have a choice. After you extend these tiles right here to create a 2x3 and then a 1x3, you can either place another set of cones, so you can do something like this, just to prevent lobbers from throwing. Oops, wrong thing. Or what I do, I simply place 3 floors across, and then I place more of those recycling drop traps. Now, they are going to do a lot of damage because they're falling and they won't activate as often. The only time these are going to activate is when a husk comes down here and drops off of this, activating the trap. Honestly, if you don't want to use traps or you don't have the resources, I highly recommend you just continue the cones up another 1 or 2 levels to stop flingers, but I like to add the drop traps right there. So, pretty much it for that part. Next, we're just going to come over here, and it's the same original ceiling electric fields we used to have. You just have the 2x3 right there. However, the only difference, instead of ceiling electrics, I changed it to drop traps. They're going to still do tons of damage, but this is actually going to allow for us to, instead of just damaging and killing them, it's going to let us recycle things too. So when we get into the later waves when husks aren't dying from, one activation of them, you can now stall them a little bit more, which is going to make it take longer. Plus, this is a stall build for the most part. The only time we have them die is when they get to this portion, and that's mainly for the mini-boss, smashers, blasters, any of the tanky things. Highly recommend you guys switch it over to drop traps, but it still works as the electric fields. Other than that, everything else should remain the exact same for this build. I'm doing a quick walkthrough here so you guys can pause it and look at whatever you may need, just in case something did change that I don't remember. But for the most part, it should be the same. We covered pretty much all of the adjustments, so that's pretty much it. As long as you guys build this properly, it should be working. I've tested it countless times and with random waves, and it's all worked. If you have issues with it, please let me know, and I'll do my best to help you. Leave a comment down below or message me in the Discord, and I'll do whatever I can to help out. Other than that, everything else should remain the same. You have this wall and the cone up at the top of the block off. It's not even needed. If you wanted, you could add this extra wall just to put a little bit more to stop husks from going, but you shouldn't really need any of that. I just have that there to prevent husks from going through the trap tunnel. So, without further ado, that's pretty much the entire video. Make sure you guys subscribe if it helped you. Leave a like down below so it pushes that out to other people. And honestly, it's a pretty self-explanatory build. Everything is the exact same as it used to be considering the West. So, I hope you guys enjoyed, and catch you guys in the next one.